At the start of this anime season, all of the big titles were pretty obvious. You know, you got Attack on Titan, you've got Demon Slayer, and you've got whatever this is. But there was one title which I glanced at and decided not to watch because it looked kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. I saw it and said to myself, I'm not trying to watch Caillou, I'm trying to watch anime. It's pretty simple. This was a mistake. Ranking of Kings is probably on par with Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer this season, in my opinion. Now, you guys must be thinking, Sozo, have you lost your goddamn mind? Did you see Eren Yeager in that new episode? And the answer to that is yes. Yes, maybe I have lost my mind. However, bro, look at Boji go. He do the little dodge move. Oh, look, bro, look at him go. Slightly off-putting at first, the unique art style adopted by Ranking of Kings absolutely grew on me as I started watching the show and caught up to it. The story takes place in this RPG fairy tale world featuring your pretty standard systems like magic, potions, curses, pretty much everything you'd expect from an RPG world. The simplistic and expected elements within the Ranking of Kings world leads you to expect a story and plot which follows the simplistic and predictable nature of the world surrounding it. Ranking of Kings takes this precedent and your expectations and manages to flip them upside down every single episode. So far, there has not been one episode which I found unenjoyable, boring, or even predictable. Obviously, there are some tropes, but I'm referring to the overarching plot within each episode. Normally, backstory episodes bore me out of my goddamn mind, but Ranking of Kings kept me hooked and engaged throughout the entirety of the backstory episodes. The reason being is that the characters are so fleshed out and interesting that the more that you learn about them, and the more you see how they bring their personal vendettas, side plots, and emotions into the story, the more that you actually care for those characters. Ranking of Kings is a show where I even like the bad guys, the big bad wolf main antagonist. Oh, you want to blow up the earth? Actually, yeah, that does make a little bit of sense now that I think about it. Obviously, that was a joke, but characters, including the antagonists, have very solid reasons for the actions they do. Speaking of characters, the main protagonist, who shines the brightest, can't even talk, dealing with the weight of being a prince, battling with his own weaknesses while trying to please his people and live up to their expectations, watching Boji build up his courage and set out to hone his strength so he can help his people is extremely satisfying. Boji's rising is not only a story of him starting to come to terms with his weaknesses, it's him accepting them and utilizing them as strengths. This and the courage he gets from doing this are what sets Boji apart from the other characters in the series and frankly makes him stronger than them. In an effort to overcome their weakness or trying to gain power in order to mitigate them, other characters' selfishness leads them to do basically whatever they can in order to gain strength. After years and years on the internet, I'm extremely desensitized to emotion, and I'm not afraid to admit that. Something that was extremely shocking to me, however, was the fact that Ranking of Kings drew a couple tears from my eye sockets. Don't let the fairy tale-like art style fool you. Ranking of Kings presents some very mature themes and tackles some quite thought-provoking subjects. Nothing insane like Attack on Titan in this area, but the significance and emotional connection this causes is very present. Honestly, I see this as another benefit of the art style because even though I was kind of aware of this before going into the show, it did quite a damn good job of subverting my expectations anyways. This, as previously mentioned, is a very common theme in Ranking of Kings. Masterfully crafted world, intricate characters, animation, and even sound design all come together and make Ranking of Kings almost addicting. Ranking of Kings is a show that I can certainly place a 1-tier guarantee on. Even if it doesn't fully drop out of your eye, it still counts. I guarantee there's going to be at least one instance where Ranking of Kings gets that water to come out. While Demon Slayer has me doing push-ups, Ranking of Kings has me wiping my eyes. The show is not afraid to display the personal struggles of each and every character when necessary. I think this authenticity within the characters multiplies the emotional effect that they go for here. This multiplicative effect just goes to make big, impactful scenes all the more impactful. Many anime have often forced used unnatural interactions to drive the plot forward and make their points. The fleshed out and genuine nature of the characters, and how the different motivations behind their actions and their actions themselves interact with each other, make everything feel very natural. And this is something that I think a lot of anime and even Western shows struggle with. Some characters within the show do somewhat play into their stereotypes. Oftentimes, however, I found that this was only surface level and really only truly relevant when the character was first being introduced or displayed. Instead of falling into the same repetitive trap other shows do, Ranking of Kings uses stereotypes and cliches as yet another tool to divert your expectations and maintain a somewhat familiar yet extremely flavorful journey and storyline. Instead of the mean bigger brother, who in this case isn't actually older, just being mean, he too is just a child trying to live up to the expectations of the role which he was born into, and perhaps even being manipulated. The harsh stepmother doesn't just want her biological son to be the king, she wants to protect the weaker Boji from the responsibilities, hardships, and pain that come with and are a result of being king of a kingdom. Ranking of Kings won't spend 5 minutes with an annoying narrator explaining an entire plot sequence to you. Instead, they'll let you do the observation and thinking yourself. Especially after the brain rot from watching all of this shonen, this feature really shines. Corresponding to this theme and idea itself, Boji can't directly talk, so a lot of his emotions are expressed through his actions and his mannerisms and expressions. Even though at times you may not know exactly what Boji's thinking, you really feel when he's frustrated, sad, angry, or delighted. It is extremely ironic how a show I did not even consider watching until Sly Kage changed his profile picture on Discord to Boji, shout out by the way, became pretty much my favorite anime for this entire season. Watching Ranking of Kings as opposed to the other random ass isekais that have been releasing lately is like drinking a $200 bottle of Sprite as opposed to Twist Up lemon lime soda. Obviously, Ranking of Kings is not an isekai, but isekai seems to be like all we can get in the fantasy RPG genre as of lately. Defying all odds to protect the people of his kingdom which ridiculed and made fun of him, we all must collectively come together to protect Boji at all costs. Anyways, Ranking of Kings is a masterpiece. The show isn't flawless, but the impactful and rich nature of the episodes so greatly overshadows the flaws of the show that I don't even know what they are right now. The action and fight scenes are so beautifully animated that I find myself completely immersed into the show and wondering where my 15 to 20 minutes just went. I sit down for a minute and 30 seconds and the episode's over and my coffee and food is all gone. Then it's back to waiting for the next Ranking of Kings Thursday. The only redeeming factor about waiting an entire week for the next episode of this show is that I get to watch Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer in between.